Jensen Huang of NVIDIA says, here's my technology for the next 5 years. In the short term, we look at the capital expenditures of the hyperscalers and see if they're willing to plan to spend on that technology in advance, Rebecca.
Absolutely, Ed. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. We have to look at what they're willing to spend, but also look at what customers are willing to spend to drive that AI demand so they can actually generate revenues from it.
And when they're thinking about spending, we had a commitment from Alphabet sticking to its $75 billion. Microsoft has been there saying we're spending more than $80 billion, but there have been so many reports, Rebecca, that they might be ending leases. We've had TD Cowen and others. What have you listened to? What's noise? What's reality?
Well, I think, Caroline, we have to look at the profit and margin picture, right? If customers aren't willing to spend on consumption for AI, demand is not maybe what Microsoft expected it would be. They're building out capacity in a way that's not supported by revenues. And at the same time, if we look at tariff uncertainty, there's a lot of things that go into building out data centers that are expensive beyond just NVIDIA chips. And those kind of things have got to be considerations as well as we think about the overall data center cost structure.
I'm really interested in that. So we're expecting, 11% growth in revenue for Microsoft for this fiscal quarter, Rebecca. But where are you seeing the weakness in ultimate demand for their AI products? Where are we likely to see that they're spending a lot, but people aren't buying a lot when it comes to the Copilot offering, and that's being offered to the enterprise?
Yeah, I think if you look at Copilot, there have been a lot of challenges with adoption and really a lot of challenges with Microsoft being able to prove the value of what they deliver with Copilot. I think they did themselves a disservice putting Copilots out there in the beginning that weren't necessarily ready for prime time. Customers tried them once, didn't get the results they expected, and they're hesitant to go back. So now, without that broader picture of enterprise data grounding Copilot, Microsoft's struggling with their own AI to get it out there and get customers paying for it.
I find this fascinating. Like, Caroline, I think we share this in common, right? I grew up using Microsoft software. It's what was available on my Dell desktop at home. And as I've got older, I have options. I'm now a Mac user and I use OS. And the thing that I'm always reminded of is that Microsoft has spent many years selling software that you can otherwise get for free somewhere else. So we're focused on their capital expenditures, but I still don't see the other side of it. The idea that you can look at Copilot and say, I'm going to pay at the enterprise level, or just me personally, for that and get good value. Is that kind of what you're saying here, Rebecca?
Yeah, I think we're seeing customers say, when I can go out to ChatGPT on my own, right? Why am I paying Microsoft for that capability if it's not grounded in enterprise data? And if you look in contrast at some of Microsoft's competitors in the enterprise software space, you've got your Oracles, your ServiceNow, your Salesforces, where they're saying it's not just what's on your desktop that's important for Copilot or for any sort of AI agent, but what's in those enterprise data sources. They're helping to create more context, to give better answers, to give better recommendations, to really have more intelligent AI.
What we're forgetting about is that Azure is the #2 player in cloud. And so if everyone is out there spending on AI through the application layer like Salesforce or those names, doesn't Microsoft just win anyway?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Microsoft wins when its competitors' AI win. Right? If you look at the folks that are running on Azure today, whether it's ServiceNow or Genesys, Dayforce, tons of folks, those spending that their customers are spending on their AI are driving up Azure credits.
Where is, therefore, the weakness that we might see in this particular quarter and the guidance going forward? The small exposure to hardware, we think about the gaming side, but ultimately tariffs, is it going to be a macroeconomic impact that we want to hear from Satya, that we want to hear from Amy as well when we think about the CFO perspective?
I think the macro piece is going to be really big, Caroline, because as we think about overall slowing of enterprise purchases, that's already happening. Right? The question is, how long is it going to last? And how much can the innovation that Microsoft is driving in AI and areas help it to catch up in terms of sort of capturing the imagination of customers? And when we're all risk averse and hesitant about making decisions, it's tough to spark that imagination.
Okay, so spin that forward with Amazon, right? It's fast and furious for 48 hours. AWS is the #1 player in cloud computing. Right. All of the logic you've just outlined, what do you expect to be your conclusion by Friday morning of this week? Sorry, it's a difficult question, but have a go.
Well, if I had the perfect answer, I wouldn't be on the show, and I'd be somewhere else on a boat. But
Oh, you'd always be on this show,
Harsh.
Rebecca. You'd always be coming back on, giving us your expertise, no matter how many billions you have on that boat.
that's right. I think we're going to see, in general, slowing growth. Amazon has some different pieces to its portfolio that are very compelling for customers that are looking at cost-cutting measures, that are looking at streamlining and rationalization right now. Amazon has a lot to offer in that area. We see Microsoft Azure. I think we'll still see pretty strong growth there, but it's going to slow over the next couple of quarters. And I think what we'll see this week is sort of the beginning of that sign of, if you don't have a compelling cost-cutting rationalization proposition, like we saw, for example, from ServiceNow last week, you're going to struggle as one of the big players.